So thanks for joining in today for this session. And
Yeah.
I welcome all the students to this exciting session from Shiksha Study Abroad. And my name is Vaibhav and I'm your moderator for today's session on behalf of Shiksha. So we have Hari with us. He is a student at GISMA Business School, Germany, and he'll be sharing his experience as to how his life has been in Germany once he started studying, and why exactly did he decide to study abroad, and especially in Germany. So we welcome you, Hari, again to the session. So it'll be great and lovely if you can give us your brief introduction so the
Certainly.
students can get to know you a bit better.
Perfect. So for the benefit of everyone, my name is Hari Chayanam. I come from the southern part of India. I've been in the field of sales and marketing for over 8 years now. I already have a couple of masters back in India, but then that is where I decided, it's time for upgrading of my skill, and then decided to pursue my career further abroad. So while I was searching multiple countries, then I've looked at my basic, the geographical filtration further down. Then I understood, okay, Germany is a good country for me to go by. For like every student, which I'll be talking further, like every student's dream destination to be in Canada. Even I started with Canada, went to Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, almost all the countries, and then finally landed up being in Germany. So, and then found GISMA Business School as one of the most accredited good universities. It has got an AMBA certification as well. And as we speak, I was a student until yesterday. Yesterday was my graduation, and then me, along with all my colleagues, we have graduated, and most of my colleagues are also here on the call. So it feels amazing. I'm an alumni also of the GISMA Business School.
And thanks for sharing your experience. So, Hari, like you shared that initially you also started looking for countries like Canada, UK, and all of that. Most of the students, Indian students, look
Yeah,
at Canada like for PR options, right? So,
yeah.
why did you finally land on Germany as a study option? Like, what were the pointers that you had in your mind to select Germany as your final option?
Okay, so let me give you this perspective. 2021 last year is where I flew. So 2019, 2020, 2021, students could not fly because of COVID. So all the students who wanted to fly, so 2019 passouts, 2020 passouts, 2021 passouts were flying in the year of 2021. In Canada, there are 6 different provinces: British Columbia, Nova Scotia, all the way till your Vancouver, to your
Mm-hmm.
Quebec. Right now, looking at all these provinces, every year, on an average, 200,000 students fly to Canada from India alone. So that means 600,000 students for that particular 1 year. So any Tom, Dick, and Harry job, a part-time job that I'm going to apply, there's going to be another 60,000 people or 100,000 people going to apply for the same job. Now, the reason I said this is because it is not because I don't shy away from the competition. What we need to understand is it a fair economic policy? No, it doesn't. It is also a different part. So thereby I eliminated Canada. US is no option for a good settlement abroad. So it is not easy. I would not say good. It was not that easy. So then I moved away from that as well. Further, I looked at UK. I looked at economics of triangle: GDP, unemployment, and inflation. Pandemic, Brexit, UK was washed out. It was a bad situation. Further, then my brother is from Australia. He's staying in Australia now. He said, "Don't come to Australia. Things are a little bad." Then New Zealand. New Zealand needs only generalists. Does not need specialists. Ireland is a destination where it is always between Europe and UK, so it has got always geopolitical tensions. Then one destination which all stands out. The only reason students do not choose is because of the afraid of language. Then I chose Germany. Let me challenge myself. The country did not choose Germany.
Okay, that's great. That's quite a research that you have done on your end. So,
Yeah.
students who are looking at studying abroad, obviously they can keep the pointers and your experience that you have shared on selecting the right study destination for them. So, like, how
Certain.
did you come up with such a research? Like, did you do it yourself or there were colleagues? Obviously, they were like you were sharing that one of your brothers helped you and you got inputs from your friends as well.
Yeah.
But like, how did you come up with such a research that can be helpful? If you can give us a brief so that all the students who are looking at taking out their options can also do something on their end as well.
Certainly. So, December 2020 is where I started my entire journey towards finding a new career, new opportunity, and everything. Uh, when I started looking at these opportunities, I decided, okay, maybe I should, once I have finalized that I need to come to Germany. Also, before this, I had all the assistance of the one of their advisors as we speak. There was an advisor, Swasti, who helped me amazingly well. I still give a lot of contribution the way she held my hand in or joining through as well. So the reason I'm also closely associated to Shiksha these days, even until now, after a good 1.5 year long collaboration, is only the way she actually guided me across. So she was a very good mentor. The way she actually knew, she is a very knowledgeable person. So that being said, I have done my own research. As every student should do. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you do. You need to do your homework, right? And I am also today a brand ambassador for GISMA Business School. There is a particular reason, because I carry the legacy forward, and it will be a new benchmarking set for the further students coming by. So it is always recommended to do your own homework. There are a lot of scattered knowledge on and on the web. I'm an old school guy. Take a pen and paper, write it down from this, write it down from this, write it down from this, collate, make your own deductions, and then decide accordingly.
Okay, that's great. So thanks for sharing your experience. Hopefully that would help a lot of students. And I'll request the students, in case if they have certain questions and if they want to ask Hari regarding his experience or something related to GISMA or Global MBA program, you can go forward and put it in the chat box or the Q&A box. Okay. So coming
Not
back
only
to
for the Global MBA, Vaibhav, not only for Global MBA, any program on GISMA Business School.
any program, yeah, Hari would be helping you out in that. So that's great. And like Hari, talking about GISMA now. So how is the campus life and faculty? If you can give us
Yeah.
a brief regarding that. So
I'll give you all my honest opinions right from day one. Okay. So
exactly.
22nd September 2021, I have landed in Germany. And 24th of September, I went to the campus, which is in Potsdam. All right. And there was no building at all. I mean, there was building, but there was no infrastructure. I thought at one point I got scammed. But then there was one a person who was standing there. So the entire advisor, they said, hey, listen, this is a new campus. It is under construction. Your classes will start on 12th of October. Please come back on 12th of October. You will see a different campus. In that span of 15 days, as soon as I went back on 12th of October, I found a new campus. All the infrastructure is there. Everything is set up. The faculty were there. There was greeting. There were amazing students who were there. So the opening day, welcome day was a great experience. So GISMA Business School has got multiple campuses across, out of which one is in Berlin. I'm talking about purely on the business course perspectives. One is in Berlin. The other is in Potsdam. Now, the Potsdam campus is called as the University of Applied Sciences, or the Hochschule. Now, what does a Hochschule is? It's a private-owned entity, but being recognized by the government, and then it gives you the right bridging of knowledge. So it bridges the knowledge between the theoretical and the practical world. That's why it's called as University of Applied Sciences. So I would always recommend students doing the research, and the two major things that you always need to do when you find for a university. One, it's accreditations. Two, is the university a good place? Please talk to the fellow students, probably someone from, find them on LinkedIn, talk to them, take their experiences in person. There could be reviews and ratings where people are not unhappy with their own academic performance, but they still give negative reviews on the internet. So don't be bothered about those. It could be 100 positive reviews and 10 negative reviews, and people will start considering 10 reviews, right? So that's a human tendencies. I would always recommend talking to the fellow students from the alumni network, and then you'll be able to be in a good hands.
And how about the faculty? So if you can share how the study process is there, obviously,
Yes.
and if you can give a bit insight and comparison between the study system in India, because you did your bachelor's here, and the study system in Germany.
Yes. So while I was doing my master's and bachelor's in India, so things are more inclined towards the book side of you have a book way of teaching methods, and you do it only according to that. But when you have come to a foreign land, it is always different. The reason it is different in a positive way is because you learn through life experiences, and you are embedded with a social learning collaboration. So that means you will start learning with your colleagues. You'll start learning from the faculty, and you learn from the case studies. You also have a teaching modules, but you also participate in live presentations. You also participate in live events. So this makes your entire learning experience much more stronger, and the concepts get embedded into your head much quickly. So this is on one side. On the other, so this is your pure academic to academic kind of a comparison. Two is, as a student, when you fly abroad, you have a little time to get adjusted to the culture management. We often do not take into consideration that the culture does not play a major role, but no, it's a once you do not consider the culture, you will never understand the people here. So it is always important to understand the culture. So unless you break out of your shell, come out of your country, and then start integrating into the society much strongly, that is where you'll know, and then you understand, yes, this is the right place to be at. Okay, so now that being said, I would give you an example here. The first culture shock which I have received is when I have arrived as a student in the airport, and I had a lot of luggage to hold. So the trolleys at the airports, usually in Europe, needs a coin to be inserted to remove it out. And I had notes. I had no cash, right? I had a currency notes. Now that made me difficult. So the first thing I did is, there was a janitor next to me, and then I asked him, "Hey, do you have a coin?" And then he did not have a coin. And then he told me something in German I did not understand. Then I said, no, this is something that is not for me. But then I realized, okay, this is what I have to do. And then I started looking at it. Then someone came to me, helped me. There are a lot of people who can help you around, but you just need to ask. Now, coming back to the topic, the faculty. So as we speak, as of today, we have roughly around 600 students at GISMA Business School, and more than 12 fixed professors and beyond visiting professors. Right, so we have more than 12 visiting professors, and then more than 12 in-house teaching professors. So our classes are segregated in a way that you have a fixed schedule, you have a timetable. So the classes do not go by 9 to 5, 9 to 6 every day. They have 3 days classes, 4 days classes, like a typical business environment. You have classes in the afternoon, you have classes in the morning. The modules, the most interesting part for me was the process of block module teaching. Now, what is a block module teaching? Is your 25 hours of teaching is taught in 3 days, which is actually divided for the whole month or 2. Now, that has been taught in 3 days. So this simulates, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this simulates for a student a real corporate environment where he or she needs to break down his barriers to go further ahead and state, okay, this is how a typical business life is, and then this is what we have to be illustrated with. So this is how things are taught. So everything is a life experience. Everything is a practical experience that you go through at GISMA Business School.
Okay. That's quite one explanation that you gave. And apart from the, like you already quoted that apart from the bookish knowledge that is completely done in India, they like in GISMA and like most of the other universities also, the practicality and the aspect is taken in that manner. So obviously that helps in the overall development of a student.
Yes.
So great. And like coming to the biggest point that a person thinks of while applying to Germany in any particular university, like it's the private university versus the public university, right? So that is the biggest pointer that a person keeps in mind. So like what has your experience been studying in university, and how do you see the public university system in Germany?
Okay, so the public university system, you have 2 types of public universities again, right? So when I say public, although the public university, the entity is the same, you have a free side of teaching and you have a non-free side of teaching. No matter where you go, 85-90% of your business courses are always of business. I'm talking about pure business, are always paid courses, right? So you have all the technical courses in public universities which are mostly free. Mostly, I repeat again, right? So the reason these things are changing fast as we speak. Now, there is a biggest change or the biggest difference between a public and a private university is the number of faculty versus student ratio, right? In a public university, there will be an auditorium with 100 people, and then you'll be dumped there, and there will be one faculty who will be teaching for all the 100 people. Unless you have an exceptionally well question, you cannot actually raise your hand and ask a question. Now, imagine the ratio of 1:100 versus in a private university, for instance, like GISMA, where you have 1:6, 1:15, probably 1:7, depending on what kind of class you are. I mean, I also know a few courses in GISMA Business School where the ratio is as low as 1:4. right?
Oh,
So that
that's
means there are only 4 students per every single faculty. So that means your personal attention to every single faculty is much more stronger there. So you have
Mhm.
any questions, could be low, could be high, because by the end of the day, we all come with different experiences. We all come from different parts of the world. Now, what happens is you do not have the same level of understanding at every side. Now, the
Mhm.
faculty is the person who can bridge that gap. So this is the major turning point for me to decide to go to a private university over a public university. Now, that being said, there are a lot of promotions around private universities. Now, there are also a lot of promotions under public universities. Now, why private universities does this more often is there are a lot of universities that are not well recognized in Germany, but they still want to get the students. Again, as I'm saying, if a private university is your ticket to Germany, then GISMA Business School is not your place. GISMA Business School gives you the right amount of education. It gives you the right amount of knowledge. It trains you a student, and you will have to go through a lot of good pressure. I say good pressure because that will make you a better person in life. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Because the major pointer is that free education part that is mostly sought after by the Indian students, so they put more concentration toward the public universities. But the
Yeah.
kind of the reasoning that you gave on as to the student-teacher ratio, that is a eye opener. So most of the students who are looking to develop their career and obviously looking forward to better opportunities can look forward to private universities as well. So that
Absolutely.
is. And like how was the German thing? Basically, like did you have to learn German as a language as well before moving to GISMA, or like you started training and development part on the German language there itself? So how did you go about that?
So my course entire was in English. The entire taught model was very English. My faculty around me were talking in English. There are a lot of people talking English. So although you don't need a German language as a mandatory, but it is often recommended to learn the language. Now there is obviously one good reason is if you want to get faster into the society, you would always need to have a German language skill. So I have done a basic A1 level of language, and today without even doing any further learning on German, I'm still at A2 level. Because I'm at an A2 level, is the reason I said this is not because of just by listening to people, just by walking around, just by talking to the people in the broken German that you know, and then they respond to you back. So you get to understand a lot of good things here. So having a basic German is very good, but the university also offers you an integration course, right? So the
Okay.
first in the first 15 20 days as soon as you come, the GISMA Business School will arrange a perfect planned German integration course which will help you get inducted into the society much faster. Yeah.
That's great. So that would be quite helpful on the universities part. And apart from that, I guess only the private universities would be helping the students out in such cases,
Yes.
uh, not the public
Public,
universities,
yes,
right?
because public universities do not offer your German courses, that not that easy.
Plus, they would need some sort of certification as well that you'll have to do from India on the language front.
Yes.
Oh. And like have obviously it's a new part, completely going to a new country and learning their local language and trying and developing it on your end. But on the initial days, did it like pose it to you as a challenge? And like if you have seen certain students suffering with their placements or their part-time jobs,
Yeah.
so like so how has your experience been related to that?
I'll have to tell you a good thing about this. 21st, as I said, 22nd September when I was here, the entire 22nd September to 23rd September, I did not even wake up from my bunk bed. I did not even get up from my bed. I was stuck to the bed looking at the ceiling because I had a good successful career in India. I was a senior sales manager. And then I took a career step to break this down, and I'm like, no, what am I even doing? Then I decided I chose this country. The country did not choose me. I got up from the bed, went to the nearest S-Bahn. S-Bahn is your local metro station. Went to that local metro station, got a 24-hour ticket, and started traveling across Germany with that free ticket, with that 10 euro ticket. Now, the reason I
Mhm.
said this is once I did that, I felt really comfortable. Okay. Now, as a new student, you always have your apprehensions. Now, you need to break this as a student, and then you need to get integrated into the society. Choosing the right university is one of the biggest challenges that you will always have. Now, unless you have a mentor who can guide you and then say, "Hey, listen, I'm here for you. Do not be worried about it." Even though the mentor says, "Do your own homework." Now, once you do that, then you have your basic nitty-gritty set, then you can actually fly abroad. So there are a lot of things that you need to actually take care. And then there are list of things that I can give you that it goes by. So one specific request I personally have to every student is, if you're flying for your next year September, right, start finding for your accommodation right now.
Okay.
Right
Yeah,
now.
that was a major point that I was to cover on the next question. So, like we have seen, like in countries like Ireland, Germany, there's been accommodation crunch going on, especially after the COVID era. So,
Yeah.
like, how did you deal with it, and what are the suggestions that you can give apart from booking the accommodation? Are there certain websites that a student can look to, or they can join certain groups on Facebook or WhatsApp? So
Yeah.
how was your experience on that?
Okay, I would be totally not sure on Ireland at all. I'll give you my perspective entirely on Germany. Now,
Yeah.
there are two major reasons that had come because of the crunch of the accommodation crisis. Is one is
Hmm.
because of COVID, and two is because of the Ukraine crisis. Yeah,
Exactly.
the war in Ukraine. So now what
Mhm.
happened is, when I had come in on, I started searching for my accommodation from the month of June for September intake. I was flying
Mhm.
in the month of September, but I did not find any. So I thought, okay, let me find out. There'll be some agencies, there'll be at least toilet boards. I'll walk there and then knock doors and ask, can you give me an accommodation? To my surprise, there is nothing. There is not a single board outside. There is no one guided me what to do. And although there were websites, every website was booked. Right? It was booked, not available. That's the same story. Then finally, I
Mhm.
started ending up, because as a student, when you come, you need to do a basic bureaucratic system process called as Anmeldung. Anmeldung is your city registration. Unless you do your city registration, so for city registration, you need to have accommodation. So you have accommodation, you have access to your blocked account. Unless you do not have access to your blocked account, you don't have funds. Right. So it's basic. It's a circle. It's an infinite circle, and you need to actually follow all this process. So I finally
Mhm.
figured out there is one person who was ready to give me an Meldon. I negotiated with that person, gave me an Meldon, got that apartment, then got my city registration done, then got my blocked account, got my funds access. Now the reason I said, when you asked the last question about the jobs and part time, I did not answer there because I wanted to touch here.
Sure.
If you do not have the accommodation there first, you do not have city registration, then you will not be eligible even to look at your jobs, because
Oh.
jobs will ask you for your tax ID, which is called as the STOIR ID. Will also ask you for your social security number, which is your SSN number. Right? Unless you have these documents, the jobs will not give you any kind of a opening. Right? So it's period. It's basic that. And the collaboration between Indian embassy and the government of Germany
Mhm.
is so positive that most of our students these days are getting stamped with a 6 months visa and an Zusatzblatt. A Zusatzblatt is an annexure that states that you are eligible to work 120 full days and 240 half days in a particular year. So that means on the day one the student arrives, he can start working, right? He can start finding for the part-time jobs. It's just that you need to have the STOIR ID, tax ID, all the other SSN numbers. So that is just a
Mhm.
mandatory kind of a part of it. So once you clear these aspects, then you find the job. So there are a lot of English-speaking jobs available in Berlin, in Germany overall. And if you're doing a student jobs or a part-time jobs or basic survival jobs, you do not need any language skills also. But by the end of the day, if you want to do on a working student kind of a roles, working student is a better position which will also make you land in the future job perspectives. Right. So that's a pathway to it. So
Mhm.
these are kind of the mandatory steps.
Okay, that's great. And like coming back to the part-time job opportunities that we were just speaking about, so is there a 20-hour cap similar to other European countries in Germany as well? So
Okay.
you can work for 20 hours in a week. And what's the pay as per you? Like, have you have experience related to certain jobs where you can share the hourly pay that they give you, the
Yeah.
employers are selling out to the students?
Certainly. So let me start with the part-time perspectives. So in the part-time jobs, it is not 20 hours per week. Do not take me wrong. I'll give you a calculation behind this. It is
Mhm.
120 full days, 240 half days in a year.
Okay.
But when 120 full days is 960 hours, that is 20 hours in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the basic understanding of this 20 hours per week is often mistaken. You can so this is from Jan. of a calendar year to December of a calendar year. So in this particular duration, you can work at any point of time at any number of given hours, no matter what, but you cannot exceed the limit of 120 full days.
Okay.
That is just the limit. Now, the reason I said this is sometimes for students, you concentrate all your career, and then there is a 3 month holiday break. For instance, let's say November, December, Jan, and you have, or let's say October, November, Jan, October, November, December, and then you can straight away work all 3 months in that go. Or Germany is often closed in August because of the holiday season. The summers, people have to go outside their vacations. So entire month of August, you work for full 40 hours a week. You don't have any teaching modules. It is just that you need to be very clear on your academic calendar and your job calendar. They should not clash. That's all. As long as they don't clash, you're good to go.
Good to go. And what's the pay that the second question that I'd ask you?
Yes.
What's
So
the pay that they give?
when I had come in, the basic pay was 10.37 euros per hour. Every
Okay.
job here in part-time or full-time, any job it could be, the basic survival jobs will always have a contract. Without a contract, no one will employ you, because that is also supporting for the for your visa, for your insurance, etc., health insurance and everything. So right now, the basic hourly age that we speak is 12.57. This is like the basic. They will pay you that much per hour, and it goes all the way till 15 euros per hour. But if you work for a working student role, then they can go up to 25, 30 euros per hour also. My job, the first, I was a delivery guy. Like I was like a Zomato guy in India. I was doing a grocery deliveries here. And then my basic job started at 10.37. Then I worked with an Amazon warehouse, worked for another, for 11 euros. Then I quit all those two jobs. Then I found the working student role and also a full-time role there later. So they started paying me 25 euros per hour. So I quickly moved, within just 3 months of time, I quickly moved from a 10 euros basic pay to a 25, 30 euro basic pay.
Okay, that's good. So the growth rate is still on a much higher side as compared to like India or any other country.
Absolutely.
And like Germany being the fifth largest economy, just being surpassed by India a few months back. So the major threat that posed most of the developed economies was Russia invading Ukraine, right? So did it come up as a trouble in Germany as well? Or did you see like inflation or rising prices of certain goods and commodities? So how was that in Germany? And did you see people losing out jobs just due to this factor, or a lot of stuff that since Europe is considered as a like connected continent as compared to other like continents, right? So did you see some sort of troubles coming up due to that particular factor?
Indeed. So let me be clear here. Like any other part of the world, because of the one side the war goes, the rest of the world starts collapsing. That's a part of the war situation. So after the war, all the students were safe. There's no problem in this. All the citizens were safe. No problem at all. So the only problem that we started looking at is the rise in inflation. The rise in inflation, because there was no demand, there was no supply, or there was high demand and there was no supply, or there's always a shift in equilibrium. We started looking at the prices overshooting. I mean, I remember the 1 liter of oil, your typical sunflower oil that you use for cooking, used to cost us 1.97 euros when I had come in first time. 1.97 is roughly around 160 rupees a liter. Now that same prices shot all the way till 5 euros during the right peak, because Ukraine was the largest supplier of sunflower oil. Right, and then the transportation stop, war had arrived, everything has gone for a toss. Now that quickly started looking at then alternate sources of supply, and then we got the prices back into control again. Now all the basic commodity prices increased, but the government also pushed all the companies to pay a little more. So you have more money, you have more prices, so you can still start buying. Now the advantage of a German government is that they realize that there is a problem, and you have a component of tax in which you pay in your salary slips. Government had given 200 euros for every single student back to their own kitty, so that they have more money to spend. So they collected less taxes from students, and then this is 200 euros for students and 300 euros for working employees. I got 300 euros because I was working back then. In the month of June, all the way till right now as we speak, every month, for one time alone, you get 300 euros or 200 euros, depending kind of work. So, so it could be once you get it, you get it. So that's how it is. So this is also to manage your energy crisis. So they have given that the deviation, or let's say the leverage for students to have the cash into the pocket.
Okay, that's great. So the crisis handling by the government of Germany is great, and
Yes,
especially considering the international students and students all across putting back the money. So that's
absolutely.
quite a big
Yeah.
initiative that
One
they're
question you
taking.
asked on the job layoffs. There are
Mhm.
layoffs because of the recession, but there is nothing to be worried about. You only get layoff in any company when the company treats you like a baggage. It's as simple
Mhm.
as it. The logic is simple. Unless you are earning at the very top level, and then you have, so all the students don't start there. All the students who start at the lower levels, at the junior management level positions, you always need to work hard. The moment you work hard, the better you grow. So it's as simple as that.
Okay, that's great. So thanks for that experience, Hari. And like coming back to like making this session a bit on like or taking the fun side off. So like did you travel like you shared that you had taken a 24-hour ride through the metro and tube and you traveled all across Germany, right? So have you had a chance to travel to different sort of like different sort of cities apart from the one that you are in right now? And did you travel through Europe like backpacking? Because most of the students
Yeah,
consider Europe as a like destination, travel destination. Like
yeah,
being obviously being one of the international students, you have that responsibility of studying as well and working.
yeah.
But like if you can share your experience like related to travel and what all things that you saw in any particular city or any particular experience that you would like suggest a student to take up.
Yeah. So I'll start with this. I'm a party animal, right?
So,
I can start from Friday, go all the way till Sunday morning, just non-stop. Uh, so there are different ways you can actually spend your time over the weekends and everything, right? So firstly, I'll tell you the transport system that is connected in Germany across. So you
mhm,
have your Regionalbahn, which is RBREs, which is your fast trains. Then you have Intercity Express, which connects from one part of the city to the other part of the city. They're like your fast expresses. They're super fast, right? They roughly around go at 250, 260 kilometers per hour speeds. Then you have your Straßenbahns or your metros, which is your S-Bahns. You have your
mhm.
tram lines, you have your underground stations, which are called as the U-Bahns. Right? So there are different kinds of connectivity. And apart from that, you also have buses. So you have adequate enough public transport systems. You do not have a necessity of finding a car also, period.
Okay.
Right? You hardly, I mean, when I'm in Berlin or major cities, I do not even take cabs. Even if I have to go to airport, everything is connected to that. So
Mhm.
I started traveling extensively after my teaching modules have got almost over, and I knew I was comfortable that I can travel. So I went to Amsterdam. I went to Netherlands. That is also sponsored by university. I'll tell you that there is also a success story behind it. So my university has sponsored my trip to the Netherlands.
Mhm.
Then I also went to Belgium. I traveled to France. I traveled to a few parts of Italy. I traveled to Austria down south. So it's a beautiful destination. So
Mhm.
hands down, Europe is one place that you would always want to be. It is an amazing place that you would always love. In the month of August, because of this energy crisis, the government here had decided August, September, and July, August, September, all these 3 months, they wanted to reduce the consumption of fuel. So they issued €9 ticket. Now this is super famous. A €9 ticket allows you to take any regional bans or any regional trains from one place to the other place for 1 month. So €9 is very cheap. The earlier when I said I took a 24-hour ticket for €10, now this time you get the €9 ticket for entire month. So by using that ticket, I started traveling to most of the other parts of the Germany. I explored a lot of beautiful landscapes. Germany, if you have a different portfolio of country, down south you have cold, snow, probably near Munich, near Bavarian regions. You have that Alps, where the Switzerland is very close by. You have beautiful mountains and view. If you go to up to the north, where Hamburg and everything is there, you have a lot of beautiful greenery sides of it. If you go far towards the east, which is where I am at Berlin right now, so it is
Mhm.
more of a party place, international places. If you go travel towards the west, you have Stuttgart, where you have more of a lavish lines spending, and then you have a lot of people there talking to you in international languages. So it's a mixed country. you'll have all different kinds of experience at the same point of time. So it is always recommended for you to see. You have to explore. So study hard, party hard. That should be the concept.
So that's basically the mantra that you're given to the students who
Yeah,
are looking, the future aspirants who are looking at GISMA. Okay,
indeed.
that's cool. And like, how's the Indian student community? Like, do you have a particular student community based at GISMA and specifically in your city? And like, do you celebrate Indian festivals? Did you feel homesick initially when you had just started your journey at like GISMA? And like, how many Indian students are there? So if you
Yeah.
can share a bit insights related to that.
Yeah. So there is a quote: "When in Rome, be a Roman." Right.
Mhm,
So now that being said, you are in a foreign country. You also get to know the local festivals, which are
mhm,
all the your Christian-based festivals or your Catholic-based festivals, and then you have your Indian sides of festival. You have the Muslim community of festivals. You have all
mhm,
different kinds of religions are celebrated here. Right.
mhm,
It's a very secular country. Everyone is allowed to preach their own religion, and if you are non-religious, you can also specify that you're non-religious and you do not want to be tagged to any religion at all. So that is also acceptable. So
mhm,
in Berlin, you have multiple Indian communities. So out of which you also have communities where I've been to Dasra festivals last year, this year. I've been to Diwali festival. So there's
mhm,
particularly there are two temples. Every Saturday I go to ISKCON. Every Sunday I go to Gurudwara,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
So you have
Great.
different, yeah. So you have different temples, you have mosques, you have you have Gurudwara, and then you have the rest of the other things. Then you are free to do what you feel like to do, right? So the community is stronger. So there are students. So there are a lot of groups on Facebook where, especially for Indian community, so strong on Facebook that if you have any problem, just write a question there, and then they will reply back to you. In fact, one of my friend, I met him through a Facebook group. He's also flying to Gizma, and then he was from Dubai. He's
Okay.
an Indian who settled in Dubai, and I was flying from India to Qatar, and he was flying from Dubai to Qatar. From Qatar is our flight to Berlin, and
Mhm.
we ended up being in the same flight, right?
Oh,
So
that's
I was in 12A and he was in 17A. So we were in the same flight with the different seat numbers, and then we met together, we went together. So there was always someone, and I did not feel homesick at all. To answer that question, the reason I did not feel homesick is I made up my mind very clear. It is very
mhm,
difficult that we will fall prey because December, Jan is a super depression time. There is no sun outside. It
mhm,
is all cloudy. You need to have your vitamin D deficiencies. If you do not have a vitamin D, then you have deficiencies. Then you start falling prey for your sickness, and then you start procrastinating. You start overthinking on things, right?
mhm,
Which is not helpful for you. And the beautiful part is, as we speak in December, we have amazing Christmas markets. It starts in end of November, goes all the way to the end of almost till the first week of Jan. The Christmas
mhm.
markets are one thing that you can never miss in Germany. Never. When I say never, Vaibhav, I would recommend you take a visa and then come here and then visit it.
I would definitely love to the kind of experience that you have been sharing till now.
Yeah.
I I believe I should have applied to a university just like you and started studying. So
Yeah.
great. So, like now the festivities would be coming up, and obviously, like Europe, US, and Canada, all these countries are on the like in basically they'll be enjoying up the days, and
Yeah.
so that's great. And like you have just completed your course and everything, so like GISMA is helpful in providing placement support as well. Do they have certain placement cell? And like in India, you know how the process is basically there's a placement drive that goes at every campus or university, the upper universities that are there, the tier one universities, and obviously a student can just sit there and apply for big tech companies. All sort of companies are there where you can
Yeah.
select the offer. So how the process is in Germany? So
Yeah.
do you have a placement drive or there's a fair job fair that goes on there?
Yeah.
So if you can give us your insight on that.
Perfect. I'll take mark my words. Apart from India, rest of the world does not have placement drives. Period.
Oh,
One single sentence. Only
hmm.
India has got placements.
Okay.
But Gizma is so efficient that it arranges. So it has got a dedicated the campus career team. Now, a
Hmm.
career team task is they'll bring you all the different industrialists or the industry partners, companies to the campus. They give you all the hands-on experience on how to build your CV. They'll give you a different care fair opportunities that's stating, okay, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, and then avoid this. We as a students took initiatives on making LinkedIn initiatives, right? How to improve your LinkedIn. So you do all these things together. And when an industrialist or an industry partner is going to come to to your university, we call them as GISMA Think events. Right? During this GISMA Think events, it is you as a student, your responsibility to go and network. The mantra for every single student is networking, period. There is no more discussion. You network, you know people, you connect them on LinkedIn, you ping them back on LinkedIn. When there is an opportunity, he will flag it back to you. So this is what you should always keep doing. And there are, in Berlin, you have job fairs where people will put their desk, a 2x2 kind of a table, or a 3x3 kind of a table, and then they put all the products there. You go to them, you talk to them, and then you sell yourself there.
Okay.
Right? So you should not get depressed of your rejections. And most of the rejections had come to me because I did not have a German language. But people who actually gave me, hey, listen, we don't mind your German language, but you just need to attend the interview and see if we are good to go. So 7 companies have approached me, and all the 7 companies have given me an offer, including a larger company like TCS. So there is a TCS that is also because of GISMA's networking event that they have created. I connected to them. They had come in. We won the competition there in Europe, and then the sponsored event was also there. So that's how things work to me. So networking is a key contributing factor. For instance, all my students, all my juniors who are talking to me right now, I would always refer them to a new jobs. And as we speak, I've referred 3 more students to a new companies, and all those 3 have also got placed. So you don't find jobs not only from your faculty, not only from your industry partners, you also find from your fellow students. So for that, you need to open up yourself and talk. That's it.
Great. So basically, networking is the key here, and a never going down attitude, the kind of attitude. Plus, like obviously the attitude that you have, even after having such high number of rejections, you are focusing on the number of offers that you got, and your main focus is on that itself. So that is something that a student can learn from you, obviously. So that is great. And how, like I was sharing the experience here, there's a placement drive that goes in India. There's a certain highest package, average package, lowest package kind of a scenario that goes on here.
Yeah.
So roughly, what's the package that a student can get in Germany, and what are the high-end companies that the packages that they're offering?
Yeah. So a professional full-time job would start a basic package of 36,000 euros.
Okay.
Per annum. Right? 36,000 euros per annum. And then you have taxes of 25%, 30%, depending on the tax bracket you fall into. So we have different class categories. You also go up to all the way till 40, 42%, which is the highest class category also. Right? And when you have an experience, you can expect that 36 to go to 42, 43. So an IBM, international business management student, can expect a salary package anywhere between 36 all the way till 48, 50.
Okay.
Right. So this is the bracket that you could look at. And also depending on which part of Germany. So this also, let's say in Berlin, you might get paid up to 40. In Hamburg, you can get paid up to 45. Munich, you get paid up to 48. Let's say in Düsseldorf, you get paid up to 36. So depending on which region also you are into. Okay. Now, an MBA graduate should not expect a salary before anything less than 50,000. Should not expect. Right? Because one, you have an experience. That's a basic requirement of MBA, is you need to have at least 3 years of experience. So you have an experience, you bring some value. And then your salary can go up to 85, 90, 100,000, depending on your caliber. But on an average, as you speak, this year, the average has been up to 80,000 euros. That's the maximum. Right? Let's assume that you have a 7 years, 10 years kind of an experience. So my package is about 75,000 euros. So I fall in the category because I also fall into the understanding of the business language. Because I bring a lot of value to the companies as well. So they also look at that. Anything above 50, so ideally anything above 36 is a super package. You will have everything covered. You will still be able to save roughly around 1,000 euros, which is 85, 90,000 rupees in India. And then you'll be able to clear your education loans, whatever you come with. So that's all taken care of.
That's cool. And plus the kind of benefits that Germany is offering as a country, like no spendings on healthcare, right? So healthcare is one of the topics that we can talk about. So healthcare is completely free of cost, and is it for the international students as well? And what all things are covered? If you can give us a brief on that.
Yes. So health insurance is segregated into 2 categories. One is the private and the other is the public.
Okay.
The basic category is if you're under 30 years of age, you will come into the category of a public health insurance.
Hmm.
If your age is above 30, then you go into the category of private health insurance. This is the first criteria. Why? Where? We can discuss it. It's like a long list of checklists that you need to fulfill. Public health insurance, you get a card, right? You get a card, you go to the center, you give that card, and then to any hospital, they'll put your card and they'll say thank you. And then you go get your treatment and then you're out. So you don't have to pay anything there. So now the public health insurance, for your private health insurance, you pay it from your pocket first and then you get it reimbursed. Either ways, it's still free of cost, right? A public health insurance cost per month will be roughly around 110, 115 euros. So you pay 115 euros. It is not typically free, but it is kind of free, right? So 115 euros per month is what you pay, 115 to 120, depending on which insurance provider you are at. And then the rest of the medications is taken care. But if you start working, even it could be a part-time job, even it could be a student job, even it could be a full-time job, the company always pays for your insurance. So you find a job, you have your insurance. For instance, for the first 3 months, I paid my insurance from my pocket, 115 euros, 116 euros, right? Now, after that, I got all my reimbursements back. I got 423 euros back into my bank account because my employer, who started employing me from day one, had actually paid all my contributions to the insurance, and the insurance company gave my money back. So it is a win-win situation for you. You don't have to pay anything there. So you find a job, you have your insurance, everything is clear. That's how things work, right? And private health insurance is very cheap. It is as cheap as 30 euros and goes all the way till 60 euros, depending on what kind of age bracket. Are you smoker, non-smoker? The same thing that we have in India. Now, those categories, you fall into those categories. So health insurance is a must for every single student.
Okay, that's great. So apart from that, like coming back to the job aspects that we were talking about and placements aspect, are there certain sectors that are on a rise? Like obviously, world knows that Germany is famous for its automobiles, right? All the major companies come from Germany.
Yeah.
And apart from automobile, any other sectors like pharma or obviously healthcare and IT. What all sectors do you suggest to look forward to if there's a student who wants to apply to a certain course? What
Yeah.
all sector he or she can keep in mind
Yeah.
to pursue a course for?
Okay. So now before this, you need to understand there is a crisis in Germany for shortage of labor. Every
Okay.
year, 400,000 elderly people are retiring. Right. So now that means they have to fill this 400,000, and the new people who are coming to job market is only 60,000, 70,000. And only from India, there are 20,000 students every year single studying. So when you ask me how many students are there in India, there is 20, 25,000 per year who come here. So now to promote that across the globe, Germany is taking initiatives to this. So 400,000 retiring out of the job market, and then you need to fill that same 400,000 with someone new. It's going to be a task for them. So every single job market that we call is on a crisis. Everyone wants job people. So you open LinkedIn, you click on Germany, click on Berlin, you'll find at least 10,000 job applications only in Berlin, right? And so there are, but that being said, there are a lot of jobs that are always in scarce. One is data scientist. Typically your IT sectors, your data scientists. So these two are always booming, IT and data science. I segregate this separately, IT and data science. I do not mix them because IT is pure coding, non-coding side of it. Data science is more on the analyst side of it, right? So IT, data science, AI are always boom. Automobile, obviously, we don't have to talk about it, right? Automobile is always their industry. Management is something that you should always look at. Management side, every company needs a manager. Every project needs a project manager. So you would always need a manager side. So there is business side of it. Then there is always the pharma sector, which is always also in demand. So you do not segregate this as a category, but on the requirement of the blue card, right? So what's a blue card is it gives you a faster settlement to a foreign country. Okay. So in your IT sector, it is 44,000 euros, the salary bracket. So IT or the STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and management, not management, mathematics. So the STEM sectors are 44,000 euros of bracket into blue card. And then anything above 56,800 is for your business. So you have a blue card, you have a faster settlement of towards in the country of Germany. So
Great.
Bottom line, every job is in demand. For every student who's applying, I would recommend through you, ask them to apply to Germany than Canada. You will find less rejections. As we speak, I know in my circle alone, there were 15 students who were planning for Canada, and 3 of them still did not receive after 3 times of rejection, and 2 of them have recommended to switch to Germany, and then they have already got visa. One of them is already here, and the other is flying in the month of January. So Germany has to be a prime destination.
Great. So Germany is one of the hot destinations that can be considered right now. Plus, I have also had that experience. I have got in touch with a few students who have shared their experience, especially for Canada. They haven't been receiving their visas on time. Plus, there's a high rate of rejection. This time they have the highest rate of rejections. They are almost at par with US, so you can like consider as per that.
Yeah.
The US is one of the study destinations that rejects a lot of Indian student visas. So Canada would be like in coming 1 to 2 years almost at par with them.
Yeah.
So as per your experience, I believe Germany can be one of the major study destinations for courses and management, and obviously engineering. Engineering is one of the most hotshot things that Indian students.
Yeah.
So great. So thanks a lot, Hari. Your experience would help thousands and millions of aspirants like looking to study, studying abroad, especially in Germany. And your insights were really helpful. I really enjoyed speaking to you and learning a lot from your experiences. So thanks again for taking out time for us today. And your contribution is very valuable to Shiksha study abroad. And we really thank you again. So
Thank
hopefully
you so much,
we'll be catching up with you in coming months again with such a session. And for the students, for more such sessions, please follow us on YouTube and Instagram, so we can have students like Hari and himself also coming in the coming months, sharing his experience with us.
Yeah, and one bottom line, Vaibhav, before we end this call, I would say the bottom line to everyone would be is I'm not promoting any universities, right? Although my favorite is my university, I'm not promoting any universities. The bottom line that you need to understand is what is right for your career. Connect me on LinkedIn. You'll find me as Hari Chayanam. Please connect me on LinkedIn. Any students who's there online, and ask me any doubts. I'll tell you which university to choose, which not to choose. Also, the reason is the universities that are there are not well recognized. Also, you might fall prey for that. So be aware of the scams around. And you obviously, Vaibhav, your team is great, and you guys are experts in this. But if you want someone from the ground who can actually promote also the understanding of German culture, the understanding of German educational system, I'm more than happy to do that.
So great, Hari. That's a great gesture from your end. Obviously, we are sitting here, we have the experience of just guiding the students, but you have hands-on experience related to that. Obviously, so we loop you in wherever we feel we require you. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining us. And thanks, Hari, again for taking out your valuable time for us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.